crap. I don't know who the hell we think we are when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? This is the Combat Connection, and we are live on the Cageside Press social media platforms. I'm Brett Cagle, joined as always by Eddie Law. We've got a loaded show for you guys today. A lot of controversy to talk about inside the MMA world right now. Eddie, normally there's not these headlines coming off of pay-per-view cards, but
controversy in the MMA world, man. I love it, dude.
Yeah, but we've got eye pokes, fights getting restarted after eye pokes, thrown fights, FBI probes, guys getting released as 7-1, getting finished in the first round when they've never been finished before. Craziness last weekend. We don't normally get this amount of headlines out of pay-per-views, but on a fight night card at the Apex, it looked like there was a fast one that was pulled. We got to get right into it. Before we get into the performance from Stevie Garcia, Isaac Dulgarian entered this fight with Yair Duval as a minus 250 favorite as of last weekend going into fight day. On fight day, about an hour before, substantial money came in on sports books, pushing the line down to almost even money, which if you're a seasoned bettor, you do not see that. Normally, if they're going to be bet down, it's a gradual line movement throughout the week. It starts at minus 250, and it'll eventually get down closer to that number with money coming in. But when you see this an hour before the fight, this immediately raised red flags to me as just a casual bettor online checking FanDuel. These sports books and these guys who are, the Hard Rock casinos, the MGM Grands, they had to have seen this right away, right? And it's reported that $16 million was wagered on an Isaac Dulgarian fight on the prelims, which is a handle for an NBA game on most nights. So something was really up here. And we've heard Dana's response to this, Eddie. We could probably do a whole show on this, but we've heard Dana's response to this. He said he immediately called the FBI. He was contacted hours before the fight took place. They decided to let the fight go through after he talked to Isaac. And, Isaac told him, I don't owe money to anybody. I'm ready to win. I'm going to kill this guy. So Dana's like, all right, we'll see what happens. Obviously, Isaac has never been finished. He's a good grappler, gets choked out there by Yair Duval, who's coming off the Contender Series and not like a seasoned vet. We didn't expect Isaac Dulgarian to go in there and get ran through. He's a betting favorite. He's a very good prospect. And Eddie, his original coach was James Krause too. So I've laid it out there for you. What do you think about this whole situation? It's mind-boggling to me.
There's never been anything more MMA than this whole situation. Nothing more MMA than this. Not a knockout, not a championship fight, not UFC 300 or some bullshit. Nothing. No. This is the most MMA shit we've ever seen in our lives. Why? Because it's dirty, it's illegal, it's horse crap, and Dana's full of it, okay? Here's the thing. Dana called a crackhead to fix this. Look, y'all can get mad if you want to, all right? That FBI dude looks like a constant. How you walk around like this? All the fucking time.
Yeah, geeked out.
Can you imagine? He goes home and goes to see his chick like, hey, honey, how was your day? I don't know, but back the fuck up. What is that shit? Like, what are you doing? Anyway, all right. Let's talk about Dulgarian, this whole thing. So what happened on Saturday UFC Vegas isn't just a shocking upset. It's a full-blown integrity crisis now, right? Heavy favorite loses in under 4 minutes. Betting markets flip. Refunds are issued for some places. Apparently some didn't do it. We're talking Dulgarian, Del Valle, and the league is already they're already bringing in the FBI and all that shit, allegedly, right? So Dulgarian, like you said, came in as a how heavy of a favorite was he? Was he a heavy favorite?
Minus 250. Yeah, that's a heavy favorite. When you're over 2-1, so when it gets into 220, 230, 240, and he's at 250, that's a big line.
Now, I'm not a betting guy, but I did a lot of Googling before we started this show. So I kind of, you tell me if I'm wrong on this shit, all right?
Yeah.
All right. So there was, so he came in a heavy favorite. The odds were stacked in his favor quite a bit. We all, most of us thought he was going to win. I picked the fight because I like the way he fights. Yeah. And so until sharp money started flooding the other side, which is weird. Late swings in first round finish, props wouldn't stop. It was craziness, right? Sports books immediately started, or some of them took notice quite away, right? Then the fight happens. Del Valle catches it with an early submission under 4 minutes, right? Like, just like you said, and I got a shout out to our very good friend Waldo Cortes, who started immediately tweeting out stuff before the fight even started of the line flipping. And during the fight, he was losing his mind. I think everybody was. This is deja vu, ladies and gentlemen. The scandal in 2022 with Derek Minner and James Krause. Now the ghosts of fixed fighting past are back in the octagon, ladies and gentlemen. The most MMA thing to ever happen. This isn't about one odd fight either, right? It's about the integrity of the sport, which I don't know why we're still calling it a sport because this is not a fucking sport. But when unexpected betting swings correlate with improbable outcomes, you don't just shrug your shoulders, right? You investigate. And that's what's going. It is going down, folks. Now, here's my mind on this, right? And then I'll finish this quick. Dogarian may not have thrown this fight because we don't have proof. We don't really know for sure. But how this unfolded is so incredibly damning. It's hilarious. Odd shifts, first round props exploding, the favorite gets submitted in familiar territory. Something changed. And the UFC knew it before the fight because Dana said in that video that they called Isaac and his team, like, hey, you all right? Are you injured? Or do you owe somebody some money? And
he said he's going to kill the guy.
Right. He said that and everything. And so the UFC already knew beforehand, they let the fight go. The biggest story isn't just Dogarian, is that some fighters have already admitted to being a pusher for fixes, right? Yeah. So, yes, I believe the investigation is going places. We're going to see somebody's going to jail. Someone's getting busted for sure, right? Yeah. Dogarian's just the first domino. Now, real quick, the thing about the fighters coming out, right? Because shout out Vince Morales, we got to speak to him and he gave us his point of view and all that. All these fighters are taking it back. Following that video Dana put out that said, or not Dana, was it TMZ?
They're going to get some phone calls, Eddie. They're going to get some phone calls.
Yeah, and so Dana, being Dana's not an idiot, all right? A lot of people call him, he's not dumb. You don't get to this point of being an idiot at all. He knew good and damn well. He puts that out, every fighter that came, because he didn't want to hear that. He doesn't want to hear all these fighters being approached, right? So what do you do?
Heard about that before when they were in the UFC.
You nip it in the bud, though, immediately. Yeah. You're like, okay, FBI is going to call you. What do you do if you're a fighter? Even if that happened, you don't want to deal with the FBI. They're not fair. They're not looking
Look what they did to Jeff Molina. Once you get involved in those investigations and they seize your property, everything's free game. Jeff Molina got outed as, we know what happened. Because he was involved in that James Krause camp and everybody got their property seized. The FBI does not care what they leave in their wake, what they find. Nope. You do not want to be associated with those people. Or
anyone in government, by the way.
Eddie, the original guy who was busted for this was James Krause, right? You mentioned that. And when Dana was in his interview that he did yesterday, he mentioned that this case right here is linked to the James Krause case. Now, currently, James Krause is a real estate agent in Kansas City, right? He has never been charged with a crime. He has never been, put in prison for this, nothing. So when Dana made the federal prison statement last year, it is my opinion, and I can't prove this, that James Krause is probably a confidential informant or some type of informant for the FBI.
Pulling strings.
Yeah, because if not, I don't know how he would not have been charged with a crime already. He probably was just like, listen, I'm going to cooperate with you guys, give you guys everything because I don't know how that case would be linked to this case if he was not giving some type of information of some sort.
I mean, it's possible, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if he was involved trying to save his own ass because that's how criminals do. Criminals think they're good, they're all good and dandy when they're not getting caught. When they get caught, everyone's a bitch, immediate bitch. None of them are. There's no honor amongst thieves, right? That's the same. But it's just wild that it's a former James Krause fighter. Like you just know James Krause heard about it. He was like, "Oh, that's crazy. Who was it?" Isaac Dogarian. What the fuck? What? Come on, bro. They're gonna come call me now. Like that is hilarious. Like. This whole situation is crazy, and you can just see if Dana White had hair, it would be pale white at this point. It could be falling out. Like it is crazy shit going on over there. I don't feel bad for him. Bring it on yourself, big dog. All right, you came out with the video and intimidating your own former fighters into shutting up, so your business doesn't look terrible. Come on.
My thing is though, Eddie. So when this originally happened, right, and we get the federal prison thing, and it looks like there's going to be swift justice on Krause, and then there's no justice. It's kind of like opens the door for these guys to be like, is there really a penalty for me doing this? What's going on with James? James hasn't been, it's not like James got some 5-year sentence. He's not in federal prison right now. What are the repercussions for me in doing these actions? So I think that you're going on a really slippery slope here. And I don't know what's going on with Krause because he hasn't been charged and there hasn't been a definitive action for him and Derek Minner. And then you see these guys getting approached. Eddie, of all the sports, like if somebody told me Terry Rozier threw a basketball game, he's getting paid $26 million. If you can get to that guy, you could definitely get to these guys making $40,000 to show.
Oh, yeah. If that, Jesus. But and this is weird. Like all these fighters that are coming out saying I got approached, they were all just losing all kinds of fights. So it makes you wonder, okay, you were approached. Did you really say no? Because you took a few L's there, my boy. Like,
did you see Zach Pwaga? Zach Pwaga's like, I was favored in all of my UFC fights. Nobody approached me. I was just losing for fun.
Dumbass. I would say that too if I was trying to be funny, but fuck.
Yeah, he was.
But I just don't like that Dana White came out and put that video out to intimidate all these fighters. That was what it was about. That was not about anything but intimidating those fighters into shutting up. Because if those fighters start talking, look, I do not believe for a second that Dana doesn't know what goes on in his house. You have to be a complete moron not to know what's going on in your own house. But you got to know, right? Like, and we all have heard the rumors about certain managers and certain fighters and certain promoters at some point. And this is probably like all that stuff coming out would have paled in comparison to what's happening right now. So right now, what the UFC is hoping for is that this gets fucking nipped in the bud quick as possible and get past it. But I'll tell you right now, next time Dana does a press conference, boy, maybe he'll just avoid him for the rest of the year.
You got to go next weekend, Eddie. If you can make it down to the Apex, that's going to be a hell of a post-fight interview for him.
Legitimately wanted to. I shit you not. Like, it just for the first time in a long, long time, my wife's schedule is literally like neck and neck to where there's no way I could leave. So it sucks. But I'll tell you what, I'll be watching. I know who does it. Junkie does the live stream. I'm gonna be watching the shit out of that on Fight Night if he shows up. Yeah.
So will I. But Eddie,
shout out to Kenny.
This is a really bad situation for the sport, right? And why did the UFC, when they knew about this, why did they let that fight go on? Obviously, they had those conversations with Dulgarian's team. And I believe his coach, Mark Montoya, has came out in interviews and said, I have no clue what's going on here. I will cooperate with the FBI. Like, Isaac's not allowed back in this gym if this is what happened. So I think that people are distancing themselves from Isaac Dulgarian right now, rightfully so. Eddie, but should the UFC have let that fight even happen?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That was Dana's fuck up right there to let that fight go on. That should have been like, bro, we're hearing about this stuff. I do not care what you're saying. We've been through this a handful of years. 3 years ago? We went through this 3 years ago. I'm not doing this again. You're benched. All right. And if I find even an inch of truth in what these guys are saying about you throwing this fight or trying to attempt to throw this fight, you are gone. And if the UFC bans you, like, that's what happened to Minner, and I think Molina's not allowed back either. Neither is James Krause, obviously. Yeah. But if he gets banned, that's a career killer, bro. All right, that call center job you hated, Isaac. Sorry, bro. That's all you got now, or whatever it was. No disrespect, but I'm making the point that you got to go back to your day job, my guy. Because you just
why would you risk it, man? You're a professional athlete. We see these guys like Matthew Wellmaker go from welder to household name in 3 months, and we're going to give that away to go back and be in the average Joe again. It doesn't make sense to me. No. And if there was $16 million, that maybe there was so much money substantially that Isaac.
That's a weird number. That's a weird number.
It is.
The 16 million.
Think about that. If it's 16 million, all the guys who are the casual bettors, the UFC fans who watch it, right? That makes a substantial amount. So how much money did Isaac really make off this if it did end up happening? I don't know, but
and that's the thing.
It wasn't enough.
Nevada Athletic Commission held his purse. They ain't giving it to him. Okay. And all these betting spots, they didn't pay out as far as I know. They didn't pay out any of those bets, right? I think. So
other than the main two, DraftKings and FanDuel still took your money.
So unless he did it through those two, like he got zipped. So he just did all that, ruined his reputation.
Yeah.
Ended his own career for literally nothing. That is he might just be stupid. That's a stupid way to do it.
He deserves to go to if it's true, he deserves to go to prison.
And I have a hard time saying that because I do believe the desperation is there. Look, and this kind of moving on forward a tiny bit, but you tell me what you think about this. Because I thought about it earlier and I'm just like, there's something in my mind, something there. Like the desperation of not getting paid anything. It's different for Terry Rozier making $26 million a year. What the fuck, dude? And Chauncey Billups, what the hell are you doing? Right? Yeah. And Damon Jones, I get, he's a moron. Okay, that totally understood. That did not surprise me. I was like, oh yeah, Damon Jones, that checks out. But Chauncey, shit. And Terry Rozier, dickhead. What are you gonna do? But these guys aren't getting paid anything. Honestly, they're not getting paid much, right? So desperation to be like, yeah, I'm gonna take the chance, man. Fuck, I need to get paid. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I have a hard time saying like it's it's his fault completely. But like the reasons he did it isn't totally just greed, right?
Yeah, maybe if the bottom line was raised on all these fighters, and maybe it will be after the new UFC deal coming in next year, maybe everybody will get a pay raise. But I mean, there has to be a pay raise. There is that. It has to be an issue. You're saying, they're just they're opened up prime for these people to come in here and try and make profit off of them, and they don't make enough money themselves to begin with to where it's tempting. But one thing I do want to talk about here, Eddie, is that that I do believe he deserves to go to prison. And it's because of one thing. He is stealing, right? So if we're talking about $16 million, like I understand gamblers are not the, people aren't going out to try and defend gamblers all the time, right? But at the end of the day, if he went in there and threw a fight, that is stealing. And he stole from the general public a lot of money. And whether that's inside stock trading and Bernie Madoff doing it, or whether he's doing it with his boys and throwing fights, it's theft. And it's theft on a large scale. And I believe that he deserves to go to prison for it if found guilty. But and it has to be a situation where you give him the swiftest penalty so people don't do it continually, in my opinion. Yeah, look, and the fucking parallels. I love this. And Dana's voice, that's fucking illegal. I can't do it. I used to have a good Dana. I used to have a really good Dana. I don't know what the fuck happened. Illegal. Yeah. I mean, all I had to do was sound like a douchebag, and it worked out really good. That was after the Seth Petrozelli fight, and they were like, you can't take him down. He knocked his out. Yeah, exactly. That's fucking illegal. Anyway, but federal fucking prison. I just remember him saying that, trying to emphasize, bro, we get it. Yeah. But no, dude. If it's any community that's unforgiving, it's the better community. All right, the betting community, they fucking DM fighters and they send them death threats for losing a fight. You know what I'm saying? They sent Martha Stewart to jail for insider stock trading. Man, if he finds out about it, he's going to do 10. I really think that he's going to do significant hard time. God, I hope he doesn't have kids, bro. I really hope he doesn't have kids. They don't deserve this at all. But anyway, no. Anyway, bottom line, end of the day, do you think this is going to be one of those man, everything changed when? One of those moments in this game? I do, because now you question everything. Now you got to go back and look at I don't know, did Vitor Petrino really get submitted by Anthony Smith? When he stuffs his head into a guillotine, what are you doing, Vitor? It's you go back and you look at all these situations. It's was it real, I went back to a bunch of fights. That was the second one that I looked at. I'm like, this motherfucker knows better than to do that dumbass shit. What is that? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Again, I love MMA. If we're fighting and everything, but this, I'm loving this right now. Yeah. I love the chaos. I love to be able to. That's what I'm saying. Chaos, and that's why everybody likes this sport, or the hardcores do, is you just get all this. You don't get this in many other sports. You're getting it in the NBA right now, a little bit of chaos here and there, but this is an everything. Every week thing. Here's the thing: if you look at NFL, NBA, not baseball, Manfred, you suck ass, dude. You're the worst commissioner in sports. But NBA and NFL, they're very good at nipping things in the bud before it goes public. Yeah. Dana could learn a few things here. I think so too. But Eddie, this was not the only controversy coming out of the UFC Fight Night card from last week. And honestly, there were reports that referees are getting investigated now, and for good reason. One of which was Mark Smith. I don't think Mark is getting investigated for this situation, but in my opinion, he damn well should. Because I haven't seen a fight stopped and then restarted in the history of my life watching this sport. If you go back and ask John McCarthy, who wrote the rules, I'm sure he would say the same thing. You cannot start a fight once it's been stopped. He went in there, Ante Delija. Listen, did he land an eye poke on him? Yeah, he probably did. But was Waldo sitting there going, my eye, as he was getting his brains beat in? No, he wasn't. He took 18 unanswered blows against the cage from Ante Delija, fell down, and Mark Smith stopped the fight. That's what happened. Then he sits there and says, my eye's hurting me. Well, okay, Waldo, I understand that. And when we go back and look at the replay, you may have been poked. But why were you not complaining about the poke in the middle of the sequence, the fight-ending sequence? That's my opinion on it. And for Mark to restart that fight, the adrenaline dump from Ante Delija was just going to be so apparent because his team was already in there congratulating him on a win. This guy thinks he's earned his second win in the UFC in 2 fights. He's going to be moving up the rankings. And you give this guy an adrenaline dump, kind of like Anderson Silva, Michael Bisping back in the day. Well, you know what's going to happen after that. 10 seconds later, Waldo comes in and flatlines him. So it's like, what are we doing, Mark? You not only screwed up the rules of the fight, but you got each fighter unnecessary brain damage because you didn't make an assertive decision twice. You didn't make the assertive decision to stop the fight due to the eye poke, which made Waldo Cortes-Acosta, if it's refereed the way you say, he took unnecessary punishment there because you missed the eye poke. Okay, now we have Delija taking unnecessary punishment because the fight never should have been restarted. So both of those guys got brain damage on that fight on that day because Mark Smith was not assertive enough to stop that fight 2 times, in my opinion.
Look, the fight itself, like Delija was looking really good, right? Like he looked pretty damn good in that fight. And so all that happens, everything pokes him in the eye. And the funniest thing is, to me, I laughed after the eye poke. They called time I went at because Delija changed with Tom Aspinall, and media day, because I wrote up the media day for Ante. He was just like, no, I think he did the right thing, all this stuff, and it's like, okay. The best part of this whole thing is Waldo right now is expertly trolling the shit out of the champion. He's just like, look, man, my eye was messed up, but I kept going. But anyway, no, look, eye poke happens. They call, like, he waved it, right? Like, I mean, that's what I don't remember. Did he wave?
I don't think he did the wave, but he did one of these. He did the insert. The insert.
Oh, okay. To save the fighter.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was like the horn was about to sound either. There was still like some time left in that round. Okay, so yeah, you're right. So all right, so he goes in there. Obviously, there was plenty of time left in that round because we started and ended it before the 4-minute mark.
10 seconds later, yeah.
Yeah. So he goes in and puts himself in the way. It's like, what are you doing, right? Everyone thought it was over. Ante went, had the adrenaline dump and all that, and then the restart was so weird. That was so weird. The restart. I think you and I were texting immediately as soon as that happened. You were like, "The fuck are we start this thing?" And I'm like, "I guess we are." Holy shit, this is weird. So, I'm gonna keep saying this shit forever. Commissions need to start like disciplining their officials. That was a screw up. Look, if you go to your day job, if you are a burger flipper at McDonald's and you flip a burger and it burns, or you flip it off the burner thing and it goes into something else, and you pick it up, put it back in the burger, someone tastes it, it tastes like shit, they're gonna tell you about it. They're gonna be like, hey, what the fuck was that? Right? Yeah. Why don't reps get that? Why don't we get? I mean, I think California might do something like that, but either way, there should be something where you need to look into reps and everything.
Do something where it's like, all right, Mark, you fucked this one up, all right? And because you fucked it up so bad, you're only going to do prelims for the next 2 months. You're only going to be put on prelim fights for 2 months until you prove yourself back. I agree. I think there should be some type of, just like if you're in a sales job or something and you're not up to your quota, you get put on a performance waiver. Mark needs to be put on a performance waiver and sent to the prelims until he can prove himself coming back up, because you cannot make up your own rules. This is not the Mark Smith rules of MMA, where we're coming up with shit on the fly and you just get to call it as you see it. This thing's been, had the same rules for 30 years and it's never had a fight restarted. Now, if you fucked up and you missed the eye poke, rule it a no contest after the bell and have these guys come back in and fight next week. They probably would. You go get the same paycheck, and it's another Apex card that no one's really interested in. You can kind of beef up into it. So I think this was horribly managed by Mark, and I think that whoever the athletic commission was that was sitting there advising him as well, I can't believe that it was Mark Ratner, because Ratner has been doing this for 50 years and he's seen it. I can't believe that he was giving him that advice. To me, it looked like a guy in Mark Smith who didn't want to seem on television like he was panicking. So he took liberty into his own hands and tried to do what he thought was best, but that was not what the rules were.
Yeah, no, it's a wild situation that to happen. So with some comments here. Aspinall waved the wife. Yeah. Yamasaki let too many people be warriors. No.
I mean, some of these old school, how much are real conversation, Eddie? Yeah. How much worse are Mario Yamasaki and Steve Mazzagatti to these guys right now? I don't think they're that much worse. Listen,
not that much worse.
Bad fights. I don't.
The bad thing about those guys is that they let guys get the shit kicked out of them before they wait the fight. That was the worst thing they did. And again, that was definitely a screw up. You cannot be doing that. Yeah. But they didn't. I'll tell you what. They did have some early stoppages for sure, but it wasn't this egregious where they had time to think about it. Like, damn, boy, like. I think it was just an unfortunate situation overall. But again, like all these little things are starting to happen in the MMA. It seems like it happens everywhere, but the UFC has the biggest microscope on the planet. Everyone's seeing this thing. So they're going to be the ones tasked with trying to make something happen. Or maybe Dana just sits back and keeps saying, the commissions. At some point, you got to go to the commissions as Dana White and be like, can you guys help me out here? What the fuck? What are we doing? You're screwing me up here.
And you know what the thing is, Eddie? I think that this is a fight that'll probably go before the commission here in a couple months and get reversed into a no contest.
That'd be interesting.
Probably one of these that'll go before the board.
That'd be interesting. Is that been spoken about? Did Ante say anything?
If I'm Ante Delija's team, I'm definitely fine.
I would do it. If I'm Ante, I'd do it. But I wonder if he's gonna do it. It'd be interesting. But
I think
yeah.
it'd have to. But it wasn't all low lights from last weekend. We did have to talk about the controversies that were plaguing the MMA news before we got into some of the good parts. But Stevie Garcia was able to go in there and get a very impressive first-round knockout win over David Onama. Eddie, this was number 12 versus number 13. We both picked Garcia. He's on an impressive knockout streak here. Eddie, he went to a decision in his last fight, but he's been finishing guys on the feet. He's a legit contender at this weight. What did you think about this impressive victory from Steve Garcia in about 1 minute and 30 seconds?
Just showing everybody you don't have to talk to make waves, things happen here. Now, it'd be great if he talked a little bit. I'm not saying go out there and talk shit, Steve. Just go out there and be like, I'm the mother, I'm this, I'm that. I deserve a title shot. But just like Steve is like, hey, it's all good. And honestly, he said what he had to say, but then he gave like the rest of his time to shouting out for one of his friends that passed away, and I think it's Albuquerque, wherever it was. But either way, like he used the rest of the time for that, so I totally understand that. But if Steve Garcia was a talker, man, like if he was just like, man, Alexander Volkanovski don't want to see me, something like that, like, make waves doing that shit. Now he's set up for a massive fight. Now he's gonna get a top 10 guy, if not top 5 guy. That has to happen next.
Yeah, I think so too. And he might not be the biggest talker, Eddie, but he talks with these, man. He's kind of like Jack Della Maddalena, who we're going to be talking about next week, or Robbie Lawler back in the day. Yeah. Both those guys put leather on you and didn't necessarily, neither one of them are the biggest talkers in the world. But I think Stevie Garcia, fight fans know what they're getting when they see him, man. Mm-hmm. You're either getting a car crash and an absolute banger, or he's going to be one-way traffic and roll somebody over by knockout. Yeah. He's a very, very entertaining fighter to watch, all gas. Primarily a striker. Eddie, do you need to see him against a grappler as he moves up the rankings here? He's been thrown into a lot of good matchups with strikers he's gotten out of there, like David Onama. But do you think that he needs to see, a tough wrestler or some type of dominant grappler as he moves up the rankings here stylistically?
I think he's going to, no matter what we want him to do. I don't think it's necessarily like give him a guy outside, just outside the top 10 that's a grappler. No, just throw him in the wolves. I think he's proven he's earned a big fight against a guy that can do it all. So no matter who he fights in the top 5, for example, he's going to get someone that can do everything. Those guys in the top 5 are killers, all of them. So I don't know if you have the rankings.
I'm pulling up the rankings right now.
All right, sweet. So if you look at the rankings there, go ahead.
Yeah, is there anybody you'd like to see him fight next specifically?
Sure. Let me see. All right, so we got
Evlov, we've got. All right. This is who I want to see him fight. He's got to fight Gene Silva. That's my. You got two guys who are just all action strikers. Gene Silva's coming off a loss. He just tried his gave his chance to try for a championship opportunity there. If he beat Lopez, maybe he would have been thrown into the 145-pound title. Throw him back in the rankings to Steve Garcia. If Garcia can get past a guy as dangerous as Gene Silva, he's the real deal and probably needs to go up the rankings here moving forward.
So Steve is number 8 now. He went up 4 spots, which is great. So he's now in his top 10. So
and Gene's 9.
Gene's 11.
11. Okay. Well, I'm looking at Topology here.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking on the UFC website. Gene's 11, right? And so I don't mind that actually. Like if he gets that fight and he beats Jean Silva, I don't care. That's top 5. Like I know he's only ranked 11, but that guy's a top 5 featherweight in the world. I argue with the wall on that one. But I don't give a shit about these rankings. It's all, it's a pool of reporters anyway. Yeah. The pool of reporters that like half of them don't even watch MMA anymore. But the Aljo fight to me is interesting. I don't know. I haven't fought in a minute. I don't want to see that one just yet. But the Aljo fight would absolutely put him up against a grappler. Lerone Murphy, no. Lerone, to me, Lerone is title shot or bust. Fuck all that. Now, the one where I'd be like, whoa. If you took the Mozart fight. Now I know if Mozart scheduled.
I thought he just pulled out of a fight. Let me look him up real quick.
Again. Yeah, that dude pulls out. That dude's pull-out game is fucking top notch, man. He ain't never having kids. It's crazy.
He beat Aljo last year. He had a canceled bout against Aaron Pico. Lerone Murphy was the one who ended up stepping up for him in that fight.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Then either Mozart, which would be a massive jump for him. I don't know if they would want to do that. But I think Aljo's a good, sweet spot for him. No, I'm pretty sure Aljo's booked, if I'm not mistaken. But let me find out.
Yeah, I like either of those matchups, Eddie. I think that any of the 3 matchups we talked about, Silva, Mozart.
No, he's not booked.
or Aljo. I think any of those would be good for Steve Garcia, but he's going to see a real step up in competition this next time out. So good for Steve getting in there and getting a big win over an athletic guy like David Onama. But Eddie, I didn't like the fight with Nate Landwehr, right? When I saw with David Onama. After that, he put together a few good wins. What do you think what do you think the limit is for David Onama? Do you think he's a guy who sticks around this promotion for a couple more years? Is he a guy who cracks the top 10 on his own? Or is Stevie Garcia just so good that maybe David Onama is somebody that can make a run of his own in later years?
I think David Onama has a lot of problems in terms of his game. He's got to work on everything. He couldn't do anything in this fight. He literally did nothing. And I know the fight only lasted 3 minutes and change, but he couldn't do anything. Like, there was nothing that he offered that made Steve think. If anything, he was watching Steve. He was like, oh, shit. Oh, he looked shocked. Like, he was like, do I throw now? And then he would throw and then eats 4. He's like, oh, shit. Like, it was really embarrassing for him, I'm sure. But I didn't expect him to do much against Steve. What happened is what I expected, right? Yeah. But the fact that he put up no fight whatsoever, that was just like, come
Eddie,
on, man.
If you had to take a guess, how many strikes do you think he landed in the fight?
Under 10. God damn.
2.
My guy, take a break. Go take like 6 months off. Find a different gym. Stop hanging out with the cross guys. I'm pretty sure there's another one of those. But stop hanging out with the cross guys. Go do your thing, bro. But go train go to Thailand. All right? Go to Thailand. Do whatever you got to do. But be gone I don't want to see you for 6 months, bro. At all. Go work on your game. That was just terrible. And tap out does exist. I did see, I think their pair of gloves was at Dick's Sporting Goods. So it does exist. But it's still just as embarrassing to wear their shirts. Do not do that. It's lame. Only 45-year-old roid heads, divorced dudes that go to the UFC every fucking weekend are like, and if you think I just shot one straight to bow to you, I probably did.
They used to kill the buckle, man. I'll tell you what. That was the number one fucking thing in the buckle.
I didn't have not one tap out shirt because I thought it was so lame. I went to a UFC Phoenix show years ago. I walk in there and a bunch of fucking like 45, 50-year-old white dudes with like that were clearly on like testosterone, like TRT, wearing those shirts, like veins popping out of their necks, like they just took like a bunch of Viagra before the fight just in case they met a dummy. And I saw them and I was like, I am never wearing that shit fucking ever. I will wear represent and shout out represent my guys will represent. But shout out represent. I will wear this kind of shit the rest of my life. I do not care, but you will never see me in a tap out shirt. That was gross. Or Affliction. God, Affliction was so much worse. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the other one. It was Affliction. But they actually started a promotion there for a little bit.
It was dog shit. They got Fedor, but it was dog shit.
Yes,
like Perilous Nose. Look at you.
Not as bad as Affliction. There you go. Yep, exactly. Eddie, one more fight we got to talk about before we move on this week. We got some more predictions, breaking news, all sorts of stuff to talk about here. But Jeremiah Wells got back in the win column as a betting underdog over Thimba Garimbo. Thimba Garimbo was 4-1 in his last 5. Jeremiah Wells has big power, but took some time off after his last contest. 38 years old and was the betting underdog coming into this one. No controversy here. Jeremiah Wells gets it done. I picked him as a betting underdog this weekend, who's my underdog of the card. But Eddie, what did you make of Wells' performance? And given the lack of activity from last fight to this fight, do you think he needs to get about 3 more fights here next year at 39 if he wants to make one last legitimate push?
Yes. Do I think it'll work? No. But is that what he needs to do what he actually wants to do? Put pedal to the metal, Jeremiah. You got to go fucking now. Like literally right now, you gotta start bugging the hell out of Hunter and Dana and whoever else to you gotta just make it happen now, dude. If you don't do it now, you're done. You're done. On the other side, no, go ahead. We'll talk about them here in a second. Go ahead. But yeah.
For Jeremiah, I like him a lot, man. And I think the only thing that's really plagued him in his career is his height, right? So he's always been at this weight class where he's 5'8" at 170 pounds. And man, if he was just at 155 his body, his height wise, he could probably be 145, but he's just so muscular and stuff. But he's got one punch power. He's got good grappling. I think that he's a very well-rounded fighter. And against some opponents up in the rankings, I think that he could surprise them. But good win for Jeremiah Wells as a betting underdog getting back in there.
And Themba, I'm sorry, what were you going to say? Themba, The Rock wants his house back. What the fuck was I'm kidding. No, this is with Themba Gorimbo. I think Themba Gorimbo, very quickly, because I had thoughts about this after the fight. Mm-hmm. I think Themba needs to go away too for like 3-4 months, right? Yeah. But Themba, you got to get rid of all your yes men. Any friends that came to you after you met The Rock, cut them off. Stop with the
Eddie, what's his mentality on fight week? Why is he going into media day saying my kids matter more than his kids and the stupid shit he was saying?
He's trying to do what who was it? Anthony Smith. Remember Anthony Smith against Johnny Walker? I think it was Johnny Walker, where he's just like, You're trying to hurt my kids, bro. You're trying to hurt my kids. And I'm like, Johnny's face during the fight, he's like, what the fuck is he talking about? It was that. I think he's trying to hype himself up. Look, if you need to hype yourself up on fight night, when you're about to get in a cage with another grown man who trained to kill you in that said cage, you have a much bigger problem. Like, if you need to do that to get yourself up to fight, you have a much bigger problem than fighting, bro. Like, what the hell?
I thought Wells should have got on the mic and said, man, I guess my kids matter more, huh?
No, you know what I was hoping? Because I did see what he said. I was like, Wells would be like, man, fuck them kids. And just drop. Fuck them kids. And just drop. But he would have gotten so much shit for that, but I would have died laughing.
Yeah. Great win by Jeremiah Wells. We got to move on here. There are some news topics that we have to get to. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis has been canceled. I don't think anyone is too disappointed in that. But it's sounding like Jake's trying to fight Francis, which I'd love to see that one. Go ahead and fight Francis, Jake. I'd love to see that. But I don't care what this guy does, honestly. Unless he's going to get his ass beat, I don't really care. Tank Davis is 45 pounds smaller than he is and 8 inches shorter. He fights real guys at his weight. I don't care. It's a non-topic to me personally, but the fight was canceled for fight fans out there wondering about Jake Paul. Any comments from you on that one, Eddie?
Yeah, look. What did y'all think was going to happen? Y'all think Tank was actually going to fight him? It has nothing to do with Tank. This is all Tank. Tank's trying to catch up to John Jones and the rap sheet. It's hilarious, but Jake Paul trying to in 100% parallel everything that this man does is a circus from the day he started, like YouTube, or Nickelodeon, whatever bullshit he did. But yeah. And look, I give him credit for creating something out of being a dipshit. It worked out. His brother's doing just as dipshit shit too, but he's doing he's doing great at WWE. Good for him. And again, this is not. I know I call him a dipshit. That's not a diss. That is a spot on accurate description of both those idiots. But calling out Francis that was just, he knew Francis was going to do it. That's why he did it. You think? I mean, Jake Paul didn't want to fight Francis, right? No. You want to impress me, Jake? Call out Deontay Wilder. Do that, or Andy Ruiz. But make sure you're not putting that bullshit stipulation in your contract. You can't knock him out. You can't knock me out. Like, fuck out of here. Knock him out. But and then now you know what the talk is now, which is hilarious, is this shit right here. Nate Diaz might step in on the rematch. Okay, you know me. Nick Diaz is my favorite fighter of all time. Nick. Okay, Nate is in my top 5 for sure. I could give a shit about this fight. Okay, and I'm wearing represent gear, and that's Nate's deal. But I could give a shit about that fight.
Why is he not in MMA yet? He signed a deal with the PFL 3 years ago.
Yeah, no, because Jake was fully shit.
If him versus Nate was put on a,
I'd watch that.
It'd be the first fight in the history of the PFL someone would pay to watch.
It might be the most watched fight in PFL's ever done.
Yeah. Oh, it certainly would be. Certainly would be.
Yeah.
Especially if you packed the undercard too. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why this guy's taking boxing fight after boxing fight after boxing fight when I know he's been paid a substantial amount of money by the PFL to not fight.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because Don Davis is an entrepreneur. I don't know how good he is because he's a dog shit negotiator. Okay. What Francis and Jake Paul did was abuse an idiot and take his money. And I do not blame them. It's addicting to do, yes. But you took advantage of a moron. That's what happens, right? So Jake Paul signs the deal with them, right? And everything. He's like, yeah, I'm definitely going to fight. He has no intention of ever fighting MMA. All right. Francis, dude, how long did it take Francis to have a fight? Forever. He went and boxed again. It got to the point where they were just like, yeah, I know, Francis is supposed to fight for us, but he's after doing the boxing thing. Like, we don't want to get mad, we don't get mad. But they just took advantage of the PFL being dummies. That's all it was. So it is what it is. And I love this part. Mayweather accidentally KO'd Logan. I remember that. I remember that because I saw the clip. I didn't watch the fight, but I saw the clip, and that dude's like leaning on Mayweather. Big ass, like, what's his name? What's his first name? Logan. Sorry, Logan. Big ass Logan leaning on tiny ass little Mayweather. And I'm like, bro, you got knocked out by little soft hands. You're out of your mind. Anyway, so that was it, dude. It was just Jake just took advantage of an idiot, and he's never gonna fight in the PFL.
Yeah, dude, he's the biggest scammer in the history.
Oh yeah,
biggest scammer. I mean, none of them are real fights. Nobody knows what the contracts is. Nobody knows what the drug testing stipulations are. He's fighting guys smaller, fighting guys older. Only time he's been in a real fight was against Tommy Fury, who's not actually a professional boxer, and he lost. So not much.
Not actually professional. Tommy Fury is about the same as Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Just
fuck.
Trash.
Julio Cesar Chavez went rounds with Canelo.
At least.
At one time, when he was sober, he at least could defend himself against the best in the world.
And then Canelo beat it out of him. Canelo beat him up for having the audacity of thinking he could stand in there with him. Yeah. But hey, you got to give that man credit. He's crazy.
No, yeah, he's crazy and a tough dude. But, yeah, it's the same type of stuff. And when he goes, Jake's talking about fighting Julio Cesar Chavez, he was one of the people that I believe was in negotiations for this fight. Like, he's retired. He's been busted for drugs 4 or 5 times. Like, he's well past his sell-by date. But anyway, moving on, we have some other stuff we got to talk about because Ronda Rousey is back in the headlines once again. We've been talking about her recently, but this interview just keeps gaining traction as people continue to watch it. She's called shots, or she's thrown shots at Joe Rogan and now Khabib. Eddie, you don't normally hear women talk with this vulgarity, but I think the direct quote, I never heard my mom or grandma talk like this, but the exact quote from Ronda Rousey was, "I think the MMA fans' lips are so firmly on the base of Khabib's cock because he didn't challenge himself and end up losing. He got out before he was actually challenged." But yeah, she used the words, "Their lips are firmly on the base of Khabib's cock because he was not challenged." That was exact quote. What
Ma'am, there's a mirror, at least a few of them in your house. Can you go over and just look in the mirror, okay? And you tell me when you challenge yourself, okay? Like yeah, okay, you fought Holly Holm. Great. That wasn't a challenge. You were saying you called her a do-nothing bitch. That's not a challenge. You thought you were going to beat her, right? Amanda Nunes, I don't know what's
that was a challenge. That was a challenge.
Hey, no. Amanda Nunes, if she wins the title from Holly Holm, right?
Miesha Tate.
Holly
wins it, loses it to Miesha.
Miesha takes it. Yeah. Miesha takes that UFC 200 as a main. UFC 200 as a main event because John Jones can't not take steroids and whatever. But so Miesha wins it. Then she drops it to Amanda, and Dana White said this at the press conference after that fight. He goes, "Ronda just texted me saying, 'Hey, I guess I got to get back to training.'" That was not her challenging herself. That was her thinking she was going to dominate this chick. Okay. You want to talk about not challenging yourself? How about, and again, I was literally not one of the ones that was giving her shit for covering her face with a pillow after getting knocked out in Australia. I did not care. I understood it, right? I have daughters. As a father, your job is to protect your daughter's feelings, everything overall, but definitely their mindset and their feelings and their heart, right? So as a dad, if my Ronda Rousey was my kid and she got knocked out, I'm holding the pillow up for her. Like, no, guys, that's not a good time right now. We're just gonna get through here. She'll speak when she's ready, whatever. Okay. It was what happened after that made it look bad. The not talking to the media, basically being Kyler Murray, right? Just like fucking, just sitting there and just kind of pouting for months, right? Pretty much. No, you can't say that either. She's a gold. She's a Olympic.
I was going to make a point here, Eddie. There's only been a handful of people that have gotten to the notoriety level of a Ronda Rousey. There's Brock Lesnar, there's Chuck Liddell, there's Conor McGregor, there's Royce Gracie, and I'm running out of names, right? So maybe Sakuraba in Japan back in the day. But like Ronda Rousey was on Ellen. Ronda Rousey was on Oprah. Ronda Rousey was mainstream on SportsCenter. Like, she was what people were talking about when it came to MMA. They weren't as worried or concerned about when Anderson Silva's fighting or when George St. Pierre is fighting. They want to know when this new girl Ronda Rousey's fighting. And she was like a cult figure amongst the mainstream sports world. So I don't think there's been a fighter that's really fallen from the heights that Ronda's been at other than Conor McGregor in the UFC.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so now, Okay, the Khabib stuff. Let me just address both of them because I laughed both times. The Khabib thing came second, but it made me laugh harder because, like, ma'am, Khabib ain't fought in like 2-3 years now. Like, the fans don't care. In fact, there's a lot of people. I would venture to say most people would say that Khabib should have kept fighting, and that's why he's not the GOAT, because he could have kept fighting.
I think the reason that she brings it up is because she got that terrible backlash when she lost, right?
She did.
And she thinks in her mind, well, I fought until I lost. And Khabib, and she thinks of herself as the greatest women's fighter of all time. I guarantee it. Ego-wise, she probably does. But she sits there and what do you do when you think you're the best? You compare yourself to other people who are also the best, right? And so you're like, well, why do they not like my body of work as much as his body of work? And you have to come up with reasons or cope or whatever you want to call it for why they're greater than you are. And you want to say, well, he stopped early. Well, I don't know. Is that true, Eddie? He beat Justin Gaethje. Those guys who are at 155 pounds now, the guy who's the champion before last year was his protege. So it's like, I don't see anything that would have gone any differently if he would have stayed over the last 3 years.
God damn it, Perez. Ronda is sponsored by Snuggie. No, the thing about it is what Khabib did that Ronda didn't do was beat everybody that was coming in their way. Now, keep in mind, she was early on before women's was developing. So she also fought pretty much everybody. But he beat everybody in a well-established lightweight division. He beat everybody. They were all afraid. Everyone said, hey, he's the best. He's the best. When everyone you fight keeps calling you the best, like ever, like there's nothing to say, right? Yeah. Ronda stopped after she lost. She didn't keep going. There was no return. There was no, I'm going to show you guys why I'm this, whatever. Has she come back, even if she lost, has she just come back and tried it again after the Amanda fight? I think she would have gotten a lot more respect than she got against now. Now, in her mind, she's absolutely the GOAT, 100%. And you know what? Good for you. But going after Khabib makes no sense. Now, going after Rogan, that one makes a little bit of sense to me. And I'll tell you why. And I'm not a Rogan hater. I don't like him, but I don't hate him. And I think, if you guys can see the difference in there, then we're good. But she says he's not an expert. He's not. He's not an expert. He's a commentator. Now, he knows what he's watching, right? Now, okay, let me take it back. He's an expert because he's been doing it for so many years. Let's go with that, right? You can be an expert in something and not have played it. There's guys that are great football analysts that didn't play a down of NFL football. Well, a lot of them didn't even play college football. And you have really good analysts that can actually speak about the sport. And they do it respectfully. They don't go out there and put their neck out like Screaming A. Smith, who didn't play a minute of any sport professionally whatsoever. No. Right?
He did play D1 though. I think it was a bench.
Yeah. But he was total
HBCU, but
yeah. I saw a few photos here and there with his god awful eyebrows. Bro, thank you God for plucking that shit. Look at caterpillars in your. You look like that one dude, Levy, whatever his first name is. I don't remember. Yeah. But the fucking dude from American Pie. But anyway,
Eugene Levy.
Thank you, Eugene Levy. Great actor, honestly. Anyway, but fuck. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Schitt's Creek, solid show. If you want to watch some mindless shit, fucking solid. Anyway, but
talking a lot of shit, Eddie.
Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. The Rogan thing makes sense to me because she was like, okay, he's not an expert. He didn't fight. He did not fight MMA. That's the part that makes sense. All right. I'm not saying he's not an expert because I think he is because he's been around doing it for so long, right? He's so long. He knows what he's watching, right?
He's probably seen more combat sports
easily,
like live. He's probably seen more than anybody.
Easily, without a question. That's why he's so well respected. Now, he did not fight MMA, folks. Okay, that she was spot on, 100%. Right now, Taekwondo matches are way different than MMA. There's different rules. There's a lot of point fighting. There's knockouts. There's knockouts and all that kind of stuff. Rogan said the reason he stopped because he thought he killed somebody. But so that's true. But to say he's not an expert is disingenuous as fuck. Right. And so that entire thing, because I watched most of the clips. I didn't watch the entire interview. So you tell me if I'm off anywhere here. Okay. She is incredibly bitter that she's not considered the greatest of all time. Yes. Not the greatest female. She is so upset that she's not considered the GOAT of all time. Because what was she told? Again, as a professional athlete, to be the best, you got to be a little delusional. 100%. Any fighter will tell you that. Okay. Any of them. But she just kept it going. Ronda, it's over. You're not fighting no more. Let it go. Sit back and let a bit of reality come in. All right. But now you tell me, why do you think it's weird that out of nowhere she's doing the podcast roundup?
All right, so those are my next 2 points, Eddie. One was first part of what you said, dissecting your what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Ronda is 2 fights, regardless of anything. You're 2 fights away from being the greatest of all time, right? You lost those 2 fights. I hate to say it. If you'd have beat Holly Holm and you'd have beat Amanda Nunes, everyone would be sucking your dick like you think they're doing to Khabib.
Lips on shaft, lady.
So, and like I said, I've never heard a woman talk like that on camera, but she talks like she's the man, and it's kind of funny. Anyway, you're 2 fights away from where you actually, the realm of where you actually think that you are to where you really are. You lost those 2 fights. I'm sorry to say it, but that's a differentiator between you and the upper echelon of Khabib, of Gracie, of Jones, of those type of Fedor, of those type of guys. You're right below them because of those 2 fights, and it sucks, but that's the reality of the situation. And then for one, and then 2, why is she coming back and being so bitter with such vigor? I think, and we've been talking about this for a little bit. I think that she's back in the gym hitting the pads, and if she starts to get more confidence and stuff, she's going to come back. And I think that maybe it's a 1 fight Miesha Tate, maybe it's a 1 fight Holly Holm, maybe it's a Chris Cyborg. You know, if PFL had a brain, they'd make a catchweight fight between her and Dakota Ditcheva, and they'd try and make the biggest women's fight of all time and build a star. But I don't think that'll happen. But Perlez says she should have fought Cyborg. I think that she's going to come back here to fight one of these names, get a last time paycheck, and get, you know, one more fight under her belt in her athletic career.
Give me a name you think she could beat, because I can't think of one.
Miesha Tate. I think she could beat Miesha Tate. I think she's got her number personally, and it'd be hard for Miesha to overcome that obstacle mentally.
Okay, is Miesha
she's been more active than Ronda, so she has fought.
Right. But is she trying to fight?
Probably for that price tag. I bet you that would be an extra zero.
I think if you offer Miesha Ronda, she does it. And even But if you give her any of these girls that have been active for a minute, no. I don't care how good Ronda looks on pads now.
Like, Eddie, if you threw her right in there to say someone in the middle of the pack, we just saw her fight last weekend, Ketlin Vieira. How do you think she'd do with Ketlin Vieira?
Ketlin cracks her. Like, Ronda's problem was getting punched. That was the problem. She didn't remember head movement.
You think still these middle of the pack girls would still probably get her, the Ketlins, those types.
If she comes back at bantamweight, all right, bantamweight. All right, obviously Kayla Harrison's the champion. Juliana Payne's number 1. Raquel Pennington, maybe Raquel. Although she had to go get through Raquel's punches. Norma Dumont cracks her. Ketlin Vieira probably beats her. Yana Santos knocks her out like fucking Holly Holm did. I will tell you, she could beat Miesha Tate, who's number 13. Jesus. Ooh.
She could beat some of these girls, maybe.
You know what? I'll say this. Maybe Luana Santos, who's number 15.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think, like, I do not think, like, I mean,
There's
shit.
Fights she could get.
Perez is right. Carmouche would maul her. Like, at this point, like, who knows? Like, age is a real thing, folks. That definitely takes away from you 100%. So who knows? But look, end of the day, I don't want to see Ronda in there ever again. Let her go. Please let it go. I don't want to see it. I think a lot of people want to see it. The ones that want to see her get knocked out again. That's it. I don't think anybody.
If you're going to talk like this, fight. Because let your ass be in the jackpot if you're going to sit there and talk about other people in the MMA space like this, because you're not in the MMA space.
Meanwhile, anyone should talk shit about shouldn't say anything. Shouldn't reply at all. Don't reply. Okay. There's shit. I'll give you this behind the scenes, right? There's shit bags in our space. Okay. In our space. We both know quite a few of them, right? And there's these little weird fat little minions that fucking sit in there in their basement, fucking, fat shits, divorcing shit, sitting behind the computer, talking shit about everybody else, right? And they'll put something out, trying to, constantly viewing somebody else and talking shit, right? You know what they hate? Silence. They want someone to be like, yeah, you're right, yeah, or they want that person they're talking shit about to clap back at them. Okay, no, you stay silent. You let that motherfucker drown in his own silence. Ronda could maybe beat Stephanie McMahon. Hell no. McMahon. No, Jesus, I'm about to get bad. Never mind. I can't say that joke. I'll tell you afterwards, because I got daughters, bro. They might be watching this shit. I ain't saying that stuff.
Eddie doesn't want to see her compete anymore. I wouldn't mind seeing Ronda come back if it's at the White House card versus Miesha Tate. I think that'd be something that's interesting.
Watch Miesha beat her somehow.
But Eddie, it brings. Listen, and I was in high school when this was happening, but I've never seen women gravitate to our sport behind anyone ever other than Ronda Rousey. I've seen girls my age, girls younger than me, ask their mothers to order them UFC pay-per-views because Ronda Rousey is their hero. Or they took a Taekwondo class when they were, 8 years old, 9 years old. And they look up to Ronda Rousey because she is the martial arts woman. She's the badass. I never, ever in my life saw anything other than her achieve that.
And that's the thing. There's so many better examples. She's an example of what you can do if you become obsessed and going for greatness, 100% athletically. But overall, as a complete athlete, not just in the cage, not just in the training room, but outside of it, acting like a champion. Way better example. Liz Carmouche, way better example. Okay. Dakota Ditcheville, young, better example. Shannon Clark defending her title on Friday night in Brazil. Shannon Clark is Canadian. She's the champion, and she's gonna go. She's in Brazil right now. I just talked to her last night. She's in Brazil right now, about to defend her title on Friday night against a Brazilian in Brazil. That is an example. That is the kind of person a girl should look up to, not Ronda Rousey, who went, fought, when everything was going great. Oh, yeah, I'm the best. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you guys so much. I know. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, thank you for the compliments. And as soon as she loses, comes back bitter as shit. Not what you want.
She's like the female Mike Tyson in our sport, right? She looked great until she didn't. And once she got beat, it really opened the floodgates for the other people to see how to beat her, right? So
best part of that analogy, dude, who said that she was the Mike Tyson MMA? Joe Rogan. Talk about biting your own. Joe Rogan said that. Hey, by the way, when Joe Rogan said that, everyone with the brain was like, hey, no, dude, exactly. But hey, when Joe Rogan said that, anyone with half a brain was like, shut the fuck up, Joe. What are you talking about? What are you smoking, bro? God damn.
She kind of was, though. Like, you didn't see girls finish girls like that.
No, but he was talking about.
She didn't care. Like you were saying, she did not care what people thought about her. She came out to that song, Bad Reputation, or was like, I don't get, whatever that song is. But, she didn't care. She was a badass. Like she came in there and was talking shit before the fights and stuff. It just didn't work out twice.
Yeah, that's the problem. And so again, she has such a great life, lives on a ranch with whoever that dude's name is, Hopper Brown, what's his name? Whatever his name was. And she's got two. Yeah. Hey, Capitan, what's up, boy? Oh, hey, man, hey, why don't your Raiders trade for Kyler? God damn it. You need a quarterback. Gino ain't shit. You should have traded for Kyler, bro. I want him off my team. No, I was kidding. But he's probably off. He's on IR now, so he's done. But
we got Jacoby now, so
hey, look, man, I'll take it. We'll limp our way to the end of the season, get a high draft pick, and start over again next year. That's what we do. We're Cardinals fans. We never get ahead. We just hit reset every year. But God damn it, this is the depressing fucking existence to be a Cardinal fan sometimes. But end of the day, dude. Ronda has her place in history, and I hope she doesn't talk her way out of that. That makes sense, right? I hope she doesn't talk her way out of that echelon of greatness, because that's where she's at still. But she keeps talking.
It's kind of like Frank Shamrock, man. Like, remember Frank Shamrock's thought is one of the greats, and then he's like, "Fuck the UFC Hall of Fame."
He talked his way out of it.
Exactly. It's like, "Fuck the UFC Hall of Fame. I don't want to do that." And now, who says anything about Frank Shamrock? And he was one of the most talented fighters we've ever seen in the 40-year existence of the sport. There's
a bunch of fighters like that, dude. Bunch of fighters. But you know who doesn't get that? Hey, whenever they show Iceman, Chuck Liddell on the screen, what happens? Plays erupts. They show who do they show that gets booed all the time? Whatever, regardless. But you know what I'm saying. Either way.
Yep.
But
Eddie, let's talk real quick about the big news surrounding the LFA. You are always on the ground covering this promotion. Have one of the inside scoops with these guys. But Gable Stevenson made a very impressive performance at Dirty Boxing last week over, I believe it was Billy Swanson, former Bellator veteran over there. Got a big knockout win with an uppercut. He looked fluid with the hands, Eddie, and then he jumped over the ropes. He did like a vertical leap that had to have been over 30 inches over the three ropes for the wrestling ring that they used there. What did you make of Gable Stevenson's performance, Eddie? And in my opinion, I think that this guy could be the hottest prospect we've seen in the heavyweight division's history since Daniel Cormier.
So you're right on that. He's the hottest prospect right now. But don't let this performance fool you. That guy had lost his last 3 or 4. He's not a good fighter. That was set up for Gable to get a highlight. All right, folks, I will peel back the curtain for you, okay? The fighter you thought, you see this guy, he knocked this one dude out, whatever, he killed him in 2 seconds. Go look into the other fighters' history, please, okay? Because a lot of these guys, these managers are really, really good at setting up their fighters to look good. It's called padding stats here. Now, Was it impressive? Gable Stevenson, 100%. Great uppercut. Awesome, right? I don't want to see Gable Stevenson in a war before he gets to the UFC, because what you do with that is you kill him. You kill his aura, you kill any momentum that he has. Right. You kill any momentum he has. So no. So he's absolutely the hottest prospect heavyweight right now, 100%. Ever? Maybe. We'd have to think about that one for a while. It's 100% up there. Yeah, we never had a gold. Daniel was not a gold medalist. He's not. If he was an Olympian,
Coleman was an alternate. Daniel was an alternate.
Was anybody a gold medalist?
At heavyweight, I'm trying to think. Randy was an alternate.
Was Randy? Yeah, it was alternate. So okay, so let's just going off the gold medal. That was enough. Like, I didn't need to see him at Dirty Boxing to think he was the best prospect the heavyweight right now, right?
Kevin Jackson. There was a guy named Kevin Jackson, I believe, that fought Frank Shamrock. We're just talking about Frank Shamrock. He submitted him. I believe he submitted him in like 16 seconds.
He did. Kevin
Jackson's the only Olympic gold medalist as a male from wrestling.
Kevin Jackson.
Other than him.
No. You know what's funny about Kevin Jackson? Phoenix, Arizona.
Really?
That's why I recognize the name immediately. I'm like, that's a local boy. I know Kevin Jackson. I never met him, but yeah, Kevin Jackson. Did he fight? Yeah, he did fight UFC. So you think about Kevin Jackson. When I saw Kevin Jackson, I was a kid. Gold and medalist, I watched him wrestling, and I remember looking at him like, God damn, that dude's got his muscles have muscles. God damn, that dude, and he was good. He was terrifying. Jesus. And then he got in the UFC. It's like, oh shit, here we go. So yeah, no, 100%. There you go. All right. So I need Gable Stevenson in the UFC ASAP. I do not want Gable Stevenson going out there, because I'll tell you right now, I was not impressed with his hands. Really wasn't. I think a competent striker could give him a lot of trouble in a boxing match. But I think in an MMA fight, all bets are off, right? I think Gable would get a takedown no problem, easily, right? So I do want to. I'm more impressed with what he did in LFA than what he did in Dirty Boxing, to be honest, right? I think that performance in LFA was what we needed to see for him to get to UFC. Now I want to see him fight one more time LFA, or MMA at least, right? And then get the call.
Yep.
All right, dude, let's do it. But I need to see him. There was a boxer that fought with one hand tied behind his back. No, he fought with a one hand in a glove, with a glove.
Yeah. Oh fuck. That guy recently passed away. Art Jimerson.
Jimerson, thank you. So yeah. So yeah, there you go. But no, dude, look, Gable is in the UFC next year. He gets one more fight in LFA or just an MMA fight, regardless, and send him, keep him moving.
Yeah, I think so too. Really big prospect, Eddie, and I just can't wait to see what this guy's career unfolds, ends up doing. But like you said, I want to see him back in the LFA or in MMA at least once or two more times before he gets over there, because it is different boxing than getting in there MMA wise, just the cardio output and all of it. I
get why he went to go train with John Jones, because who wouldn't do that? But I really wish he'd have gone to DC, man. It would have been crazy to see a DC clone with, not just in DC, better wrestling, more athletic, stronger, and better hand. Not better hands.
It's the attitude. I think it's
the attitude. Maybe.
Yeah, he's one of those ego guys. He's like a Gordon. He's like a John. Yeah. He ain't gonna listen to them.
Like Bo Nickel.
He ain't gonna listen to nobody.
Bo Nickel got knocked the fuck out for his troubles.
He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's gonna go listen to Daniel Cormier about how to do it. He thinks Daniel Cormier is below him in his mind.
I'll tell you right now.
He did. I mean, that's just how these athletes think. Sure. That's not the realm of reality. Daniel has accomplished more than him in MMA, and maybe will accomplish more than he ever does. But
in MMA, both these guys in their prime, Daniel Cormier wins.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But I think that is the comparison. I think he's Daniel Cormier with maybe a little bit more of a mean streak. That's what the people that are really behind him think.
Mind you, I'm excited as shit about to see Gable Stevenson in the UFC. Oh, I can't wait to see him in there.
I am too. Hottest prospect right now in the heavyweight division. But Eddie, we've got some predictions and analysis that we've got to get to from the UFC Fight Night card coming from the Apex this weekend. Randy Rude Boy Brown takes on Gabriel Bonfim in an interesting welterweight matchup. Randy Brown 20-6 coming into this one against Gabriel Bonfim 18-1. Now, Bonfim's lone loss was to Nicholas Dalby a few fights ago. He gassed out in that matchup, ended up losing it late. Eddie, here's the thing for me in this contest. We've seen Randy Brown get into these exact matchups so many times throughout his career. Yeah. Randy Brown has been that fighter that we've always said, this guy's the most talented. This guy's got the potential. If Randy can put it all together, he's the dude. He's 6'3". He's faster than anybody. He's got power in his hands. He's got good defensive jiu-jitsu. There's nothing that Randy Brown doesn't have, Eddie, but mentally, I have not seen him win this big matchup yet. And if I haven't seen you do it, and I've seen you in about 3 or 4 of them, you're going to have to prove me wrong as a bettor before I put my money on you. So I'm going to take Gabriel Bonfim in this matchup, even though he has not beaten anyone as good as Randy Brown. Randy Brown has struggled in some of these matchups that get him pushed into title contention. Never have we seen Randy Brown in that title contention that everybody thought his potential is warranted throughout his career. If he through this one, he will finally be in that title contention, Eddie. But I think this is going to be the same old story of Randy Brown's career. He goes up against the new guy, and Gabriel Bonfim is going to come out of this one as the hot prospect at 170 pounds.
This is a tough fight for both guys, but for Randy, it's up here, right? You're right. He's been given these chances over and over and over again, and he constantly seems to be failing. So it's again, he getting served up a main event against a hot prospect that's coming up, 1 loss on his record, and Randy is kind of, I would put him in the realm in the group of fighters that's probably thinking, should I keep doing this? And I know it's harsh to say because he's not bad, right? But he's not like. Have you ever seen a Randy Brown fight and be like, damn, that guy could fight for the title? Because I haven't.
Yeah, man, I really did. I thought that early in his career when he was going over and beating like Alex Oliveira and some of those guys, but it was a lower level of comp, right? I don't know if I've seen many people look as good as Randy Brown against lower level comp, but then when he gets to higher level comp, it's like
he shrinks,
he tapers off. Yeah,
he shrinks, and so this is not one of those times. I think he sees this fight as like, okay, you're not as good as me, and I would venture to say he could definitely beat Bonfim. Because for Bonfim's just cruising. He's just, all right, go another veteran, cool, I'll kick his ass and I'll keep moving up the rank. It's no big deal. But for Randy Brown, to me, this is one of those like make or break fights. You cannot lose to the prospect. Cannot happen.
Yeah, and some of these prospects that he's losing to are great fighters, right? So granted, is he losing? Yes. But when I go and look back at his record, he goes and he wins 4 in a row, which was the streak that I originally was talking about with Alex Oliveira, Jared Good, and Chaos Williams. Then he loses to Jack Della Maddalena. No problem there. Jack's the current champion. He's a historically great fighter, no problem. But that was a first-round finish, and he lost by submission to a guy who had never submitted anybody before. He then goes and wins 3 in a row, right? But then he loses that split decision to Brian Battle. So it's like he's got to get over the hump eventually against one of these guys. And I know that they're good, Eddie, but if you're going to be an elite level fighter like we're talking about with Randy Brown and you've got that elite level potential, we got to see it on fight night at some point.
Yeah. So we'll find out, man. This is again, you said it. This is set up for him to show us what's what, right? And meanwhile, for Bonfim, just another day, right? Was he a 4 in a row, 3 in a row, 3 in a row, coming off the split decision victory over Stephen Thompson? Much higher caliber fighter. I mean, I don't think we have to argue about that. I think we both agree that Wonder Boy's up here and Randy's like not even in the picture, right? And that's not a diss to you, Randy, at all. That's just the greatness of Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson. He beat him. Now, it was a split, sure, tough fight, but Gabriel showed that he can get in there with a high-skilled veteran and win. So he's coming in with a lot of momentum and plenty of confidence. Like, I'd be Wonder Boy, dude. What are you going to do to me?
Yeah, there should be nothing on the feet that Randy Brown presents to him that he didn't see with Wonder Boy.
Exactly. So we'll find out this weekend what we got here. This is one of those like not turning point things. It's like one of those like
it's a put up or shut up match.
There you go. Thank you. Exactly. Put up or shut up for Randy Brown, and for Bonfim is like, hey, bro, there you go. Go get him. Show me who you say you are.
I'm going to take Bonfim in this one, 3rd round sub. Eddie, which way are you going?
Ooh. Yeah, I agree with you. Third round submission. Makes sense. Randy Brown does wilt.
Yeah. So moving on down the card here, Eddie, we have Matt Schnell, who returns at the flyweight. I didn't even realize Matt Schnell was still on the roster, but returns this weekend in a co-main event, 17-9 versus Joseph Morales, 14-2, the hot prospect. Eddie, I'm going to take Joseph Morales in this one. We've seen Matt Schnell get chinned on multiple occasions. He got knocked out real bad by Steve Erceg. He doesn't necessarily have the best hands. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He's a very tough competitor. And if he can get fights to the floor, he is very tricky. But I'm going to take Joseph Morales in this one, 14-2. He's coming off a win. I believe he was on The Ultimate Fighter recently as well, wasn't he? Yeah.
He won The Ultimate Fighter UFC 319.
Yeah. And I was at that fight in Chicago, and so were you. He had he was an underdog in that contest.
He was.
So I'm going to take Joseph in this one. Which way are you going to go?
Joseph, 100%. Like my favorite interview that entire week was Joseph Morales. I love asking guys like, "Hey, what's your motivation?" He's like, "My kids, man. I'm a different guy than I was in the first time my first run in the UFC. Not the same. Now I got motivation. Now I got young men that I'm raising that I need to teach how to be men, and I'm going to show them how to be a man." And he went out there. He defied the odds, got his way back in there, and I think it's run time for him. It is run time to go. It's time to go now, Joseph. We got to make it happen now. And Matt Schnell is a perfect first opponent for his way back. By the way, you know, for the last few, maybe the last 15 shows we've done, 10 shows, the UFC hasn't put up any odds.
No
odds.
Right?
Hey, y'all better just take off the odds on the website, my guys. All right, y'all never. Hey, just take off where it says odds now, because y'all ain't never doing that ever again. Not with this shit.
Yeah, you're right. All right, that brings up a good point. I do have to bring up the odds here. So for that first matchup, it is minus 180 for Gabriel Bonfim to plus 150 for Randy Brown. Yeah, I actually thought Bonfim would be a little bit more of a favorite there in minus 180. But yeah, you can make some money there on Gabriel Bonfim if you like him. Matt Schnell is plus 325 in this matchup versus Joseph Morales, who is a large betting favorite at minus 450.
Yep, damn.
So I'm going to take Morales in this one by decision.
Hell yeah. All right, yeah, I'll take him. I'll take a decision on this one.
Moving on down the card here, we have two strikers in a matchup of kind of an old contender versus a guy who's trying to surge on his own recently. Uros Medic is going to come in here and take on Muslim Salikov. Salikov coming off an impressive knockout win. I believe he won by spinning back fist his last time out there on that China card. He is the king of Kung Fu, as they call him, 40 years old. But Eddie, he's one of the trickiest guys in the game. He has spinning creative techniques that we do not see even from the younger fighters. But Uros Medic is long, he is lanky, and he picks guys apart technically from the outside. This is going to be an interesting matchup to me. I think this is going to be a fun one between two very technical and creative strikers.
Look at Parallels out here making bets with Chauncey Billups, my guy. All I'm going to say about this fight, Uros Medic should win. But Muslim Salikov, my boy, hey, keep on representing for us old guys, all right? Yeah. Let's fucking go. That's the only thing I'm hyped about with Salikov. Nothing to do. I don't give a shit if he was a boring fighter. The fact that he's old and winning, I'm like, let's go, my guy. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Team old guy. Let's do this shit. Yeah. But in terms of the fight itself, it's a good matchup for both men, honestly. It's going to be a good one. I think I don't think he'll get fight of the night. I think someone here is going to get a performance of the night. I think whether Medic dominates or Salikov does another spinning. I think it was a spinning wheel kick. On Keenan Song. That was wild.
That's what it was. Keenan Song.
Yeah. And so, I just look. I'm a Muslim Salikov fan, just off the fact that he's old and just killing dudes. I'm like, hell yeah, my boy. Let's go.
Replacing Alexei Olenek as that old Russian dude who won't leave.
Exactly. He just will not fucking lose. Let's go. Yeah. Let's do this shit now. If I'm Dana White, maybe not Dana White. Fuck it. If I'm Dana White, he wins another couple fights. I'm like, all right. I literally call Hunter and the matchmakers. Hey, if was he heavyweight? No, it's
welterweight.
Hey, if we lose, if in the next couple welterweight title fights, keep an eye out. If we have like a late notice pull out, Salikov, make it happen. Because it would be the most hilarious thing to me would be Muslim Salikov holding up the UFC title after a winner. I would love that. I would love that because he's losing the next one. But either way, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. But moving on down the card here, I'm going to take Uros Medic in this one by decision. Okay. Which way are you going to go in that one, Eddie?
Muslim Salikov by old man power. Let's do this shit. Second round knockout.
Minus 170 for Medic, plus 140 for Salikov. So we got some pretty even betting.
We like those odds, my boy. We like those odds. Yes,
sir. Moving on down here, we do have Chris Padilla. We're going to talk about two more fights here, fans. Chris Padilla versus the other Bonfim brother, Ismail Bonfim. Eddie, Ismail is not as good as Gabriel Bonfim, but he is still technically on the ground very proficient. Chris Padilla is a good wrestler with knockout power in his hands, a very tough, rugged individual. Mm-hmm. But, Eddie, I really think that he's got to stay off the ground in this one with Ismail Bonfim. He's going to want to take him down there, but I think the best chance for Ismail to pick up a win is catching him in a guillotine or some type of transition going to the floor.
Yeah, no, but all he has to do is keep it on the feet. Yep. If Bonfim shoots on you, you're a wrestler. Get your ass back up. Bonfim takes if you somehow get in a skirmish and you get knocked down or whatever, get your ass back up. Keep it on the feet. Do not go to the ground for Bonfim because you're a wrestler and wrestlers like to go forward all the time. And That is a jiu-jitsu guy's dream. Like, yeah, come in my guard, bitch. Let's do this shit, right? So keep it on the feet. Should be able to get a decision victory here.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same way. I'm going to go Chris Padilla in this one by decision.
Yes, sir. Same thing.
Chris is actually a betting underdog in this matchup, plus 170, taking on Bonfim, who is -1 or -200 even there. So me and Eddie kind of like Chris as a underdog here. I think Chris is, even if it goes to the ground, he's proficient enough not to get subbed unless it's in one of those guillotines, like in a transition. But I think he's got a good enough top game to where he could grind Bonfim out on the ground as well if it does come to that. But it's going to be an interesting fight. Me and Eddie are going to go the way of Chris Padilla. Last fight on this card that we got to talk about, Eddie, is the striking matchup between Chris Duncan and Marco Trujillo, right? So Marco, coming over from Brazil, is 14-1. He's a knockout artist. He's really looked good. He's going to be taking on Christian Leroy Duncan, Eddie, who's one of the most technical strikers in the entire world. In my opinion, this one really plays to the hand of Leroy Duncan because Marco Trujillo does like what he's done in his recent contest, marches forward and tries to get that aggressive knockout victory in the first round. That's kind of what Christian Leroy Duncan loves to do, is kickbox you on the outside, use that jab and the long leg kicks, and do that technical kickboxing game to get a decision victory. Eddie, I'm going to go Christian Leroy Duncan in this one by decision, kickboxing him and picking him apart from the outside. Am I crazy for that?
No, man. CLD's he's a calm guy in there. Never gets rattled, doesn't get desperate or anything. Marco Trujillo. Look, man, I'll tell you right now, if I was, oh Jesus. Girls, if you guys are watching this, ignore what I'm about to say, okay? Please. I'm just making a joke. But if I had to get up every morning and leave Norma Dumont in bed and go train, I would not be very good. I'm just saying, my boy, Norma Dumont. Y'all need to put some respect on that girl's name. God damn. But Marco Trujillo likes to get some crazy shit. And he fucks around and finds out he's going to get countered over and over and over and over and over again and get fucked up. So for Marco Trujillo, the name of the game, be as patient as CLD. Luckily, this is the Apex. No one's going to boo. And if they do, fuck them, because it's Apex. They boo, cool. Point fight your ass off until you find the spot to knock down CLD and then go for it. Do not try to chase and try to make this dude fight you, because he's not going to. He's going to wait for you. So leave Norma for, hopefully you didn't hang out with Norma. Actually, no, she was at the Apex last week. You're fucked, bro. I'm sorry. You lost already. I'm just kidding. No, as long as
he's just so aggressive, and I don't see him not that aggressive. Yeah.
Guys like CLD don't care about you being aggressive. They love that. They want you to come at him. Yeah. You're going to eat check hooks left and right, my boy. Don't do it, Marco. Be smart. Patient. Find your kill shot. Go for it.
Otherwise, wouldn't mind seeing Marco try and like maybe grind him up against the fence and get some control time in this one too.
That's the other way to do it, right? Get him on the fence, beat him up to the body, make it so CLD can't breathe, and then if you want to take him down, then take him down. But don't get crazy trying to rush in there and crack him, because you will get countered hard.
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting striking matchup to watch on this card, fight fans. Is there any other one, Eddie, that we need to talk about here before we sign off on this card? Hyder Emil makes a comeback.
Hyder might get a knockout here, but Jamal Amers ain't no bitch.
Why do we have two ranked female fights down here on the?
Because oh my god! And then the strawweights in the bottom too. Look at the bottom. The girls at the, come on, man.
The prelims are better than the Jackson. Yeah. All right, Eddie. I know this is probably incorrect politically, but I think that the best nickname possible right now would be Jackson Timothy McVeigh. I really like. He's got to.
How old were you when that happened? Like, were you even born?
Like 3.
You were 3? Yeah. Dude, I was a kid when that happened. I was like, what the fuck? This crazy white boy just blew up a building. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Goddamn. Jason, that would be I would, you know what? If they put Jackson on the White House card, I would DM him immediately, like, dude, you gotta do it. Or start like a petition and send it to him. You gotta do it just because it'd be hilarious and fucking incredibly insensitive.
Yeah. It would be one of the funniest nicknames in UFC history if he ended up doing that. But fight fans, I really do like these prelims. Miles Johns and Daniel Marcos are really good. Marcos was undefeated before losing in Iowa his last time out to Montel Jackson. So coming back from Peru.
Hey, Dan Hardy ain't gonna like that, Perez. You change your last name. Change your name back to Macedo. Can't be doing that.
Veronica Hardy.
Hardy.
Thanks for tuning in, fight fans. We're going to bring you guys any breaking news and analysis. Hopefully we don't have any more FBI probes coming this weekend out of the fights, but If there are, we'll be here to talk about them next Wednesday. Tune in, and we've got a pay-per-view card coming for you. Big fight next week, Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. 2 title fights on that card. So we'll be here to talk about it next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining us.
Shannon Clark is the shit. Steve Kime, James Jones, fuck yourselves.